FDA recently introduced Elsa, a generative AI tool. It is part of the FDA's broader initiative to include AI across all of its processes and help improve efficiency as well as better serve public health. I sat down with one woman who shared her story of her family history and how she hopes that Elsa can help her in the future. Well, we have Dr. Wendy Nelson here with us today, an Alzheimer's disease patient advocate with 3 decades of experience as a biotech industry leader. Dr. Nelson, thanks for coming in. Can you tell us a little bit more just about your background and what it is you do?
Of course, Brianna. Thanks for having me. I'm a 54-year-old mom of 3 wonderful daughters and a PhD scientist by training. I've been in the biotech industry my entire career of almost 30 years, as you point out, spanning various roles, but currently I'm on the investor side, trying to raise a round of capital. I also sit on a couple boards, and most recent, president founder of my own Boston Biotech Forum, a small company. And other than that, I've recently picked up a lot of advocacy work in the Alzheimer's space.
So I understand that you spent about 17 years of your life caring for your parents who were both diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. And that must have been such a tough thing for you to watch. I know it's not easy. And I understand that as you watched their condition kind of decline, you wanted to take a test to find out if you had that same gene.
Yeah, so my mom was diagnosed, my mom's maternal aunt had Alzheimer's and her father, so she always feared getting it. Sure enough, by age 63, my mom was diagnosed. As one of 3 daughters myself, I lived the closest, so I was the one supporting my dad in her care. After a 13-year battle, my mom passed away in 2020, and I decided, you know what, I really hope I don't get a copy of the Alzheimer's gene from my mom. Maybe I should test. And I thought my choices would be 0 copies or 1 copy, and it completely backfired, and I found I had 2 copies, not knowing yet that my dad was going to get Alzheimer's. And just 6 months after my mom's passing, my dad was indeed diagnosed with the disease himself. For the past 5 years, I was basically managing his care as he lived just a few miles down the road from me. It was a circus at the end up to 5 different caregivers, 3 shifts a day. I was still finding, him shoveling snowstorms at 3 in the morning. He was, leaving the burners of the stove on. They require 24/7 care. So I finally moved him into a home a couple months ago.
Okay.
But he is still alive and battling the disease.
What was it like for you? I'm sure it must have been so overwhelming. Your mom has passed away. You're taking care of your dad. You know you have this gene. I mean, what was going through your mind?
It's a burden. And, I always say I don't want to be that burden on my children. And I won't be. And right now, there are no treatments out there for my APOE4 homozygote status. So I've actually looked into physician assistant euthanasia for my end of life if we don't have anything by that time. So it's a burden I do not want to put on my children.
Well, I know you're not alone. So many people
Correct.
Are going through this. That's why we want to talk about this new FDA AI platform. Can you explain to us, because I hadn't even heard of this until today, what Elsa is?
Sure. So I'm not an AI expert. Let's just put that out there. But Elsa is an artificial intelligence platform that the FDA is implementing to hopefully be able to mine through all their data within the FDA walls, all the data that's in their database, to more quickly and much more efficiently find patterns or synergies, et cetera, within data that it would take the human eye a lot longer to see.
So being able to diagnose things quickly, or looking at a set of symptoms and knowing what it is faster?
Looking at data that's if a data is, if a treatment's more efficacious in one subset of patients compared to another, if it's safer for one set of patients over another, just safety patterns, efficacy patterns. There's a way to, there's many ways it can be used, and again, I'm not an AI expert.
Sure, but I'm sure it's something, when you hear about it, it's exciting. I mean,
absolutely.
Someone in your position, what are your thoughts on it, and what excites you about it? What do you feel optimistic about?
Sure. So as I mentioned, I am a APOE4 homozygote, meaning I carry 2 copies of what's known as the Alzheimer's gene. There are 800,000 folks like me in the U.S., including Chris Hemsworth, and 9 million worldwide. So this is a huge unmet medical need.
Yeah.
And, I applaud and thank the FDA and Commissioner Martin Macri for seeking ways to hopefully take years off our, to transform and accelerate our drug approval process here in the U.S. And hopefully this could be leveraged, AI can be leveraged across all therapeutic areas to bring drugs to patients more quickly.
Doctor, I understand there's some recent advances treatment-wise that you're pretty excited about.
Yes, so there have been a lot of recent advances in precision medicine, and we now know that some treatments for Alzheimer's are more effective in different subsets of Alzheimer's patients at different stages of disease. So what is super exciting about this AI Elsa platform is that hopefully the FDA can mine through all their clinical data on Alzheimer's clinical trials and tweeze out the data that is pertinent to the ApoE4 Alzheimer's gene subset of patients to determine what is most effective and safe for us to take. One example of this is a recent clinical trial on ApoE4 homozygotes that on an oral pill being developed by Alteon that actually showed to be safe for homozygotes to take and clinically efficacious in early, mild cognitively impaired patients, but not in later patients with more progressed disease. This is a perfect example of, traditionally, they're called upon to do additional studies that might take several more years, time people like me might not have, but hopefully AI can be utilized here to look at this data, the data in the using AI, mine through all their data and greatly accelerate this process. I mean, this is an oral pill with such a nice safety profile, and with my likelihood of getting Alzheimer's, I would love to have access to this right now. Very akin to folks taking statins to prevent cardiovascular disease. Your brain, for Alzheimer's people, the damage begins 10 to 15 years before cognitive decline is evident. I don't want to wait till that point. So I would love to see here AI leveraged to help bring these potential treatments to me and all the other homozygotes much, much more quickly.
Sure, yeah, a lot of people afraid of AI, but in this scenario, we could really make it work for
Absolutely.
us.
There's tremendous benefit. Again, thank you to the FDA for their efforts here in accelerating our review process here in the United States.
And this is still really an unmet need for people who are facing this.
Correct. So yes, we have 2 monoclonal antibodies, antibody treatments available for Alzheimer's patients, which have been shown to be stabilizing their disease and effective in improving their quality of life for a large subset of Alzheimer's patients. Unfortunately, those treatments are not an option for me. As an ApoE4 homozygote carrying 2 copies of the Alzheimer's gene, we are the subset or the subtype of Alzheimer's that is most likely to suffer from brain bleeds or swelling as the potential side effect of the monoclonal antibody drugs. So I don't see those as an option for me, and most homozygotes do not see that as an option. So that is where the huge unmet medical need still exists.
What advice would you give someone who has a similar health background to you? Like you mentioned, there are millions of people, 900?
9 million worldwide.
9 million worldwide, okay, who are in the exact same position as you. What advice would you give to them? They're looking, they have questions or looking for answers. How can they be proactive?
Sure. There are lots of healthy living tweaks you can do to your lifestyle, eating a certain diet, cutting out sugar, certainly not smoking or drinking alcohol, exercising a lot. There are things you can do, but unfortunately genetics is genetics. So speak to your clinician, see if you are a candidate for one of the monoclonal antibody drugs. But also just there are new health apps being developed, one by Toleon Health, where it will give you guidance on how to live more brain healthy, a more brain healthy lifestyle. So that's in development still. So there are things happening, but again, let's speak up. Everyone needs to advocate. We need more tools in our toolbox. There are not enough options out there.
Sure, and that even starts with just the bravery that you had to take a test. Right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that's the really scary part of it too, even
It is.
wanting to know.
Those results are devastating, right? And, especially when there's nothing out there for you right now. So, some people ask me, should everybody test? Maybe not yet. If you have Alzheimer's in your family and you can handle the results and we'll use it to empower you to live a more healthy lifestyle, absolutely. But if you're going to get depressed and hide under a rock, maybe hold off until there are more treatments available, which, let's hope that happens soon.
Is on the way, yes. Dr. Wendy Nelson, thank you for being so brave and coming here and sharing your story with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.